Hey guys, welcome to Scars, Stories, and Songs. I'm Mondo Gonzalez. On behalf of my wife, Christina, and I, we want to thank you for joining us today. Today we are bringing you part two of our trip to Austin. Not only do you see the sights and the wonderful city of Austin, but the food is fantastic as well. But also we're bringing you the most important part, which is the people of Austin, the Church of Austin, and the pastors there in the city of Austin, Pastor Vince and Sister Ginger Molina, who are not only the senior pastors, but they're the regional pastors there in that area. And so we are bringing you through this episode. We're taking you with us and letting you see what it's like when God opens the doors for us to go and minister into a city, the wonderful time that we have, and you're able to see the church services and just get a glimpse of everything. But most importantly, we're bringing you the pastors, the people that God has called to build a work there in that city, and letting you hear about their journey. And today you're in for a treat. If you're believing God for a miracle, if you need a miracle, you want to listen to this episode, because today they are sharing their miracle that God gave them for the building that they currently have. And it is a mind-blowing miracle the way the Lord did it. He gave them a wonderful, wonderful property, and it is a big church that has a men's home built right onto the campus, and it holds, I would say, I think they undersell it a little bit, but I think it holds about 700 people if they wanted to pack that place out, and it is a fantastic place. So today, if you are new to our podcast, I want to encourage you to do three things. This is what we always ask people to do. Number one, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, go to YouTube and subscribe. Go to Facebook and you can befriend us there, or go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts under Scars, Stories, and Songs, and you can subscribe there. Also, if you haven't done it yet, put it on pause. Share this episode with somebody that needs a miracle, especially your pastor. If your pastors are believing God for another building, something more, something bigger than what they have, tell them to log on and view this episode, because I guarantee you they're going to be encouraged by what they hear. And the third thing is soak it all in. Let God speak to you. Let the Holy Spirit speak to you through this episode, okay? You're going to have a fantastic time with us. I guarantee it, because the city of Austin is amazing. It's one of my favorite cities. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. It's a city with young people full of life and energy. People are bike riding and exercising, canoeing. There's fantastic food. I mean, it is the only place in Texas that has hills, and it is beautiful there. So if you haven't been to Austin, Texas, I encourage you to go and visit our Victory Outreach Church there in Austin. You're going to have a wonderful time if you do so. Also, I want to encourage you, listen, in 2 weeks, we are going to be doing this very same type of what would I call it? This very same type of episode with Pastor Eddie and Thalia in the city of Sacramento. And we're going to be bringing you that trip. We're going to be ministering over there, and we're going to be taking you into the city with us and letting you experience what God is doing there in their church and getting to hear from them as well. It's going to be a great time. This is something that we're going to be doing ongoing. Wherever the Lord opens up doors for us, we want to partner, and we are power people partnering with other power people, power giftings coming together, uniting to bring God the maximum glory. So if that interests you, stay logged on, stay connected with us, because I guarantee there's more to come. And listen, let me tell you this. Actually, next week, we are going to be starting our brand new series, and it's called Rest in Peace. It's time to kill the worry in our life. It's going to be some real great episodes on faith, helping people, encouraging people to grow their faith, to trust in the Lord, to depend upon the Lord. And we're going to be tackling and targeting worry, doubt, stress, anxiety, fear, discouragement, disappointment. We are going to be targeting restlessness. We are going to be really helping people to get breakthrough in the area of worry. So listen, don't forget, next week we're going to start moving on these different things, and we're going to be just giving you a little taste next week of what's to come in this topic called rest in peace. It's time to kill the worry in our life. So I want to encourage you, get your boots, get your hat, and go with us to the city of Austin. God bless you. I hope you enjoy it.
Before I could have gathered my thoughts, I turned around and I saw the cop. Poor boy, and my heart sure dropped. He told me I better stop.
This is one of my favorite cities, and one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite cities is there's such a uniqueness here. There is such a life in this city of Austin that is really coming from the college. I think there's almost, 60, 70,000?
65, 70,000
Yeah,
students.
70,000 students that are bringing life to this city. And it's a powerful city. Tesla has recently moved here, right? In the last couple of months. How many months or years?
I think it's been a year. I think it's been a year, a little bit over a year.
So, and then all of a sudden, we're starting to see from the last time we were here, which was about 3 years ago, we have seen developments going up everywhere when we came. And not only everywhere, but specifically where your church is at. I think that whole area is coming to life, right?
Really all over Austin, downtown, the buildings, condominiums, stores, restaurants, and then where we're at, we're seeing a lot of development, a lot of houses.
What part of Austin are you guys in?
I'm in Southeast Austin.
Southeast Austin.
That's
where our Victory Outreach is.
Yes, we're on the far end, the south end of Austin, the far end, off of Slaughter Avenue. And so there we're seeing, schools built there, apartments, houses, stores, restaurants. It's blowing up all around the area. When we first went out there to that area and we were renting the building, there was nothing out there. There was nothing. Now there's just constantly building going on, and then constantly, almost every day, you hear fire trucks, cops, sirens. Every day that I'm there at the church, you hear sirens, and there's a lot of activity going on in that area. There's still a lot of drug activity going on there. There's been numerous times where the undercovers, the cops, they'll go into our parking lot and they'll sit and they'll wait. They're getting ready to do a raid. They're putting on their gear. They're getting ready, and they'll take off from our parking lot and go in.
What types of drugs are infiltrating this city here?
Meth, ice has been a big problem. Fentanyl. Fentanyl we've known a number of young people that have passed away to this fentanyl. this drug, man, it's treacherous. It's destroying young lives. They're saying that they're putting fentanyl and everything. So these young kids that are popping bars, they're laced with fentanyl. They don't know it, so they pop them, and before they know it, they fall out. They die. They're especially in Hays County. I know that Jarrell knows very familiar with all that, but in Hays
Jarrell's
County,
our cameraman.
yeah, he's out there in Kyle. And there's been a number of deaths out there, but young kids, they're like,
This
14.
is a third wave city. Then.
Oh yeah, it's a very young city. It's a new generation of young people.
If out of all the cities that I've been to, this is a third wave
Yes,
city. I mean,
yes.
it is, like I said, it's driven by the young adult life that flows out of the college there. What college is this?
Well, that's
main
Texas
one.
University.
Texas University, the
UT.
Longhorns, right?
Yeah, and they even say that coming to Austin, they say this all the time, that when you come here, you even feel younger because there's such an atmosphere of food, good food, jogging, biking, riding, hiking. There's just a lot of that going on, so people just automatically feel an urgency to stay healthy, to be outside, canoeing, all these different things. And they're even saying that right now there's only 16% of Austinites here in the city of Austin. 16%, 1/6.
Tons of people from California have been moving, right?
California, New York, Florida, Chicago, all over are moving here.
Pastor
So
Vincent Ginger, before they were Pastor Vincent Ginger, they were Cisco, the Duke of Earl, and Shy Girl. And you guys were a part of the original cast for that play, and also you were a part of the movie. And many people have been reached. What about when you guys were making the movie and one of the directors came and this is before you guys were married. What did he do?
But all I remember is that he was telling me, okay, look, Vince, I just want you to gently, very gently, just give Shy Girl a peck. Just a peck, like maybe on the side or on the side of the lips. But then he kept looking behind his shoulder because he was trying to do this behind Pastor Ed's back.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, no, I don't think Pastor. He goes, no. He goes, no, just, and he was trying to do real soft, just very subtle, very, soft. Just a little peck. And I was like,
Were you going for a Ginger?
I think she was.
Yeah, she was leaning in already.
No, but I was already knowing that. And then Pastor Ed heard him talking, so he came up.
Right.
He said, Paul, I already told you they're not going to be kissing. And Paul Famous, okay, I just thought maybe it would look good. He goes, no. They're not going to be kissing because we weren't married at the time.
But for the sake of art, you were willing to pay that price, huh?
I was willing to if I absolutely had to make sure the movie was a success and to be as real as possible.
Yeah.
And you had to make it real.
Ginger, what was your fondest memory of being a part of the Duke of Earl, whether it be the play or the movie?
My fondest memory?
Yeah.
Just seeing people at the altar.
Mm.
That was like the greatest reward.
Yeah.
To see people come to the altar, broken, giving their lives to Jesus, gang members, moms.
Yeah.
That was just such an amazing time. I mean, of course, that was like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But we had great times traveling.
Yeah.
Just building those relationships with the cast.
Yeah.
One thing we did learn was chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I didn't know, but one thing I could feel is chemistry because
Wow.
we would be on the stage and just doing the play with the same people all the time.
Right.
It's like if one of us forgot our lives, the other one just came right under and smoothened it out, and that chemistry where you just bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. And there's just so much to the play. And also when we would go travel, we would stay in the hotel room and Pastor would always join us all together. He would give us a Bible study. He would share with us about being used of God, about the calling of God, and he would minister to us.
And what about after the time that you guys were in the Duke of Earl? How much further down the road did you guys actually get married? How did God speak that to you? And do you remember how the Lord put you
we
together?
always worked together in ministry. We did youth Bible studies together. We were in the Duke of Earl. We did a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
But we had that brother and sister relationship where that I had with every
Yeah.
the sisters, the brothers. We just all worked together, and we were young, so we had to keep ourselves right.
Right.
But then he had left to Bible college, and it was weird because as he was gone, that's when I started feeling in my heart that I started to like him.
Yeah.
Like,
Who did you
He
tell
likes
about
that.
that? Did you tell Sister Mitzi, or how did that work back in the day?
Lord.
Did you tell the Lord, or how did that work? Like
no,
you,
we talked.
Okay.
We talked, and his feelings were the same. We both
yeah,
came to our, an agreement that, hey, we both feel this way, and
yeah.
let's take it further.
And back in those days, Pastor Ed he had a lot of young people, and so the standard was a little different back then, right? There wasn't a whole long drug out dating, courting.
He always told us, "You show me in the Bible where people dated." He said when God put people together, they got married.
Yes.
And maybe there was dating, but he goes, you don't see anywhere where they dated for a year, 6 months. It was like the Lord brought them together. And they were married. So that was his philosophy on not real long dating and courting,
engagements and all that.
We're gonna go, people. Oh, in a year I'm gonna get married. No, look, if you love each other, within 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
You guys just
we were all young, so he had to have a standard for us because we were all under.
The whole church was under.
The whole church was under. I don't even know if there's one married couple in the church.
Wow.
No parents in the church. We were all young, so he had to keep a strict standard because we were all from the streets, for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We would all just be messing up our lives whenever we wanted to. We came out of relationships already and all that, so. The way that he was with us, we needed it at that time.
Yeah.
The ministry needed it. So, when we started liking each other, we talked to Pastor Ed. What do you think? And he's like, hey, if that's what God's put in your heart,
And then you guys.
We were married 10 months later.
And then so you guys were married, and then your story is a little unusual compared to other people because I know you didn't go out and pastor right away. You were there as a part of the team of Pastor Ed building the church for a number of years. Similar, which in my life, before I went out as an evangelist, I was in the mother church for about 17 years, serving there, helping, learning the skills of building a church and shepherding and building people, which, is still a very big part of my life. But you guys had something similar too. How long did it take before you launched, before you were launched out?
The total time from the time we got saved to the time that we were launched out was 17 and a half years.
Okay.
Did you feel that you were called to go out and pastor?
No, at the time I didn't.
It came later.
It came later on. Matter of fact, I think it's just different men and women feel the call of God differently. Like our pastor, Pastor Ed, it was an audible voice that he heard in a conference there in Los Angeles, where the Lord called him by name.
Yeah.
Audibly heard his voice. I didn't hear it like that, and it took, believe it or not, Pastor Sonny preaching 1,000 churches by the year 2000.
Yeah.
That's where I felt like the call. I was like, it hit me. I was like, I heard it. I heard the message he preached. I want to launch out 1,000 churches by the year 2000. And I think I heard that message in 1996 because we came in 97.
Right.
So it was about 9 months to a year before we went out. I heard it. And at that time, I had a good job. I was working for the city of San Jose. I had a good job. Right now, I would be retiring.
Wow.
Real close to retirement, full benefits, everything. Ginger was working for the county of Santa Clara. So when I heard the message of going out 1,000 by 2,000, I told Ginger, I said, Gin, I feel like I want to go out. She said, go out where? Go out to eat.
Where are you taking me?
How did you feel about that?
Well, when I was young and I was single and serving the Lord, I always felt that I was going to be used in a greater capacity, but I didn't know what. And I knew it was eventually to full-time ministry, but I didn't know what. I didn't know with who, but I always felt just inside, I felt in my spirit that I was going to do something for God.
Yeah.
So when he presented it to me, I was like, "You want to go where?" Because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But when he said, I was like, "Amen, let's go."
And I think my words, I don't want to go the rest of my life wondering if I could have did it.
Yeah.
I'd rather try and give it my all.
Yeah.
And if I succeed, I succeed.
Yeah.
If I don't, then I don't. But I know in my heart, I give it my all to do what I feel God called me to do.
And it reminds me of something that the Lord showed me many years ago, is that in my own personal life, I thought that I was on my road of destiny. And then that road one day just ended. And I realized that I was on my road of development.
Yeah.
And now the Lord said, now I'm going to put you on your road of destiny. Now I'm going to show you all these years I've just been developing you. And there's a lot of people that they think they're on their road of destiny, but really they're on the road of development. God is using these years to develop them, and He's going to put them where He really wants them. And it sounds like that's what's happened to you
I
guys.
think that's exactly what happened to us. That we were being developed to
Mhm.
launch into our destiny.
Yeah,
But let me take it a little further. I even feel right now I'm still being developed
yeah,
into a greater destiny.
yeah. That
And
makes
so
sense.
I don't think it ever really stops. But
Yeah.
that was the foundational
Hmm.
of our lives of just serving our pastors, serving in the local ministry, learning to give, learning to tithe, learning
Yeah.
to work with people, learning to be faithful. All those things were foundational things that were implemented in our lives.
Yeah.
And it was developing us
Right.
for what God had for the future.
And-
But also, there's something happening right now in the city, in this lake, right now, right? Isn't there
Yeah,
some
well,
killings and
well,
murders?
apparently
and stuff
there's apparently they pulled out, I think, a total, I could be wrong, I think it's a total of 8 bodies. You know, some people are saying it's a serial killer. Some people are just saying it's young people getting drunk and forgetting where they're at and ending up by the water and swimming or falling in, or a number of different stories they're saying. But once again, they are mentioning possibly a serial killer, but they're trying to downplay it. But there is definitely something going on.
And then you guys were able to experience parenthood, right? In the course of that, and you have what? Take us in your family. How many children do you have? Grandchildren?
We have 3. They're all adults now, and they're
Their names are.
2 in their 30s and 1 is 27.
We got.
Vinny
Uh-huh.
and
Our oldest.
Vinny. He's married. He has 2 children.
Okay.
And then we have Destiny.
Yes.
She's married. She has 3. She just had a baby.
Yes.
And he's the cutest. He's like 5 months old.
Yes.
5 or 6, yeah. And then Sonny lives in New York. He doesn't have
Yes.
any children, but those are 3 children.
And
all
you
grown and
and you have 3 of the. Not only are they great-looking kids, but they are some of the most talented kids that, and they're not kids, they're adults, but you have 3 children that are, I mean, they are uber talented when it comes to creative arts. Tell me a little bit about what some of the things that Vinny has done, because I know in his drawing and he's had some real success there.
As a
Yeah.
young age.
Yeah, at a young age in middle school and high school, he was always a great artist. And he'll never tell you this.
Mm,
He'll never share it.
He is.
Vinny's, he just doesn't. But when he was in school, he was a great artist, and he won all local competitions, local, state, nationals, and he even took us as a family to Carnegie Hall 2 times
Wow.
to be awarded. And he
Wow.
has bronze medals and gold medals, but
And-
he'll never share that.
I started at 2 years old
Making
drawing
ninja-
Ninja Turtles.
He loved muscles. So he
Yeah,
would
so
draw
when he would
juniors.
draw the
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles at a young age, I was like, he drew their muscles
Right.
and their bodies and their faces, and I was like, at like a year and a half, 2 years old, and I was like, wow. And so everyone always remembers, even the church in San Jose, all the people that knew us and knew Vinny, they're like, we still remember his Ninja Turtles, you know.
Yeah.
And so he started at a very, very young
Well,
age.
and let me just tell you something. 10 years ago, when God gave me the idea for Live Grateful,
Oh, that's right.
my original design, which people love this design and ask
Yeah.
where can they get the font and where can they, and I always tell them it's a one of a kind
Yeah.
that was created by a friend of mine who is your son.
Yeah.
He created this. This is our original logo for Live Grateful, and it is our best seller
The most
everywhere we go. It's the most popular still, and so his giftings has contributed even to our ministry, you know, and he's helped us with some other things, but also something that your children all share is that they are in the world of, what is it, cosmetology, is it considered, right? And I think Sonny, the youngest, is one of the most talented in that field. God, I mean, like, has opened up some doors for him in that field, and
Well,
I know that.
they all specialize in like Sonny's very talented in creativity and not just cutting hair, but models. He does a lot of model. He does a lot of
High-end models.
celebrities. I
Yeah,
shared
yeah.
with you,
Hmm.
Bella Hadid. He
Yeah.
traveled with Bella Hadid here recently in her jet to Qatar.
Yeah.
And spent a few weeks there. He's done front page of Vogue magazine, I think Japan or Korea.
Mm.
And lot of front covers of big magazines that I'm blown away. Ginger will show me some of the work that he does, and I'm just kind of like, I mean, runway model
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
extreme hairdos. And,
Yeah.
man,
I mean, super creative.
So that he specializes. He's very, very talented. Lives in New York City. He's been there for 8 years now. 8 years.
And Destiny too.
And Destiny too is very, very good. She cuts and does styling, but she does braids. She's very talented.
She was in a book, or I thought I saw something that she received some type of recognition for that work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw something like that the other day.
Sonny One also was recognized as one of the 50 of the most influential artists in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
He's
A creative
artist in the world that they put him on there.
And so what we're saying is that when you come into Austin, if you need your hair done, come to Victory Outreach Austin, see the family, and you will get hooked up because, you know, they are super talented. But along those lines, you know, what are some of the challenges? That's Mike. That's right. Mike has Austin's Most Wanted. Right. Austin's Most Wanted, which is real great place. I've gotten my hair cut there many, many times. So, but in that, as I'm thinking about you raising your children, I'm thinking about ministry, I'm thinking about you guys coming. What are some of the challenges that you have faced as parents and pastors, having to raise your kids in ministry, coming from San Jose, getting the kids transition at a young age? What are some of the things that, because I know that there's people out there that are dealing with that same challenge today. They're trying to do ministry. They're trying to, you know, build a church, but at the same time, they're having to balance building a family, making sure. And one thing that I just complimented you on today was that it's what I love is that your children, they want to be so close. You know, your kids, they still want to be close to you, with the exception of Sonny, he's in New York and things like that, but every chance he gets, he wants to be here with his parents, but you can see the bond and the love that they share. But I know that that comes from something that you guys have built in your home, that your kids feel a certain, sense of security from mom and dad. And what are some of the things that have helped you balance ministry and family?
If I could share real fast.
Yeah.
Balance, that word balance is almost a bad word.
Okay.
In pioneering, because there really is.
There's no balance.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a good point.
It's if there's a balance, I don't know if I ever achieved it or found it. It's like it's something you go into pioneering, you don't know the outcome. Yeah. So we do our very best, and I'm not saying I made all the right decisions every single time, right. But we always tried to raise our kids to be as normal as they could.
Yeah.
And not to be. We didn't want anybody in the church to treat them any different or
right.
We didn't even have to do that a lot. It was already naturally inside them that they just wanted to be regular.
Yeah.
They didn't want but at the same time, we never wanted anybody to mistreat them.
Yeah.
And we only had 1 or 2 incidents that I remember that somebody said, "Oh, well, you're the pastor's kid. You should know better."
Mm-hmm.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We addressed that right away.
Yeah.
We never wanted that
pressure.
Yeah,
that expectation.
Because
exactly.
To come into ministry, they were born into this. Yeah. And so, we tried to get them to be as normal as possible, try to do as much normal things as we could with them, and let them still be able to enjoy their life, be able to be part. Yeah. We included them in everything that we did. The pioneer years were like a camping trip.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all gonna live in one room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you guys are gonna be on the bed, me and your mom are gonna be on the floor. And that's what we did for over 2 years. We slept on the floor. My kids slept in the bed. They just thought it was fun to be together.
Yeah.
Before I get too ahead of myself, I wanted to tell you one thing. I remember Pastor Ed talking to all the pastors one time, and he told us, he said, "What do you feel success is in ministry?" Mm-hmm. So a lot of the pastors were saying to have a church of 500, to have lots of leaders, and to have everything was like ministry. Right?
Yeah.
Build launch out churches, and he says all of you are wrong. We're like, whoa, and he goes, you know what success is? He says when you still have your health. He says success is when your wife still loves you. And the last one, one of the last ones, he says, and when your kids want to be part of your life, and they're not estranged from you. Wow. He said that's success. Yeah. That money. Don't get me wrong. success in ministry, do all
Yeah,
those great
you're
things.
right,
Those are all
right.
good things.
Right.
But when everything's said and done,
He-
at the end of the day,
He
it's
he,
your family.
he saw all the answers
Yeah.
going one way. He wanted to
Exactly,
bring it back.
exactly.
You know.
Perspective.
Yeah.
And he said, when your kids love you and when they want to be part of your life, and
Yeah.
part of you, he says, then you've been successful.
Yeah.
So-
Well, Ginger, let me ask you something. Like, what type of advice would you give to parents that are out there that they have been really dedicated to ministry and maybe they're starting to see a distance created between them and their children? As a mother, what are some of the things that you've been intentional to do to keep your kids connected to you and your husband?
I know one thing. I'm not a perfect mom.
Mhm.
I can't say I'm a perfect mom, but one thing I know.
She's close to perfect.
Beautiful points.
But
Cha-ching.
I know for me, it's always been important, of course, to keep God in the center. Of
Yes.
course, that's number one priority. But to keep the walls down.
Okay.
I think our kids always get to a place where they become individuals and they want to make their own decisions for their life. But I believe keeping those walls down, because once those walls go up with a teenager,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's hard to
it's
come
hard
bring
to
them
get
down.
through.
Yeah.
I remember being a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is keeping those walls down, keeping a good relationship with your kids, so that when that wall is down, they always know that they can always come back and talk to you, ask you for direction, guidance,
Yeah.
and just believing God for great things for their life.
What about the miracle that you received financially to get you here?
Right. When, my pastor dies, we lose our building.
Mhm.
We go on a journey for 6 months of not having a building.
Okay.
And
Wow.
we went into
Long time.
and since I've been here in Austin, I've always had a building,
Mhm.
a place where I fixed up, made it home.
Yeah.
But we found ourselves in a journey for 6 months with no building, and it's the traditional pretty much story in Victory Outreach.
Yeah.
You do the ballrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But Pastor and Mitzi, we saw all that, so we know it wasn't the end of the world if you got to meet in the theater.
Yeah.
It's just a pit stop and you move on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big deal to us, but maybe to our church it was, because
Mhm.
what do you mean we're going to meet in the ballroom? And we
Yeah.
met in the ballroom for 6 months, and at that time it was $1,000 a week, which
Wow.
was very expensive for us.
Yeah.
This is 11 years ago,
Yeah.
and we were losing people. We lost a lot of people on the move.
Mhm.
Went into this ballroom, so it was very discouraging. And then you got to remember, like Ginger said, we lost our pastor. So,
Yeah.
so having that voice was void.
Yeah.
And so we had to just say, okay, we had to pull together and say, okay, what would Pastor Ed and Mitzi do?
Yeah.
They would do this, they would do that. And remember, we did this and that in San Jose, and we did this, then we had to do that. So everything was kicking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The survival skills were
Yeah.
kicking in.
If there was ever a time I felt like giving up, I was getting hit with this, like,
Mhm.
wow, man, maybe this is the end of the road.
Yeah.
Maybe this is as far as we can
Yeah.
take this.
Yeah.
Maybe this is all we can do. I didn't know. And then all of a sudden, I get the phone call from the gentleman, the pastor that was on this building. His son called me and said, "Hey, I heard that you needed a building." And I said, "I do. Yeah, I do." And he says, "Well, I think our building would fit you guys perfect." And I said, "Well, what makes you say that?" He goes, "Because I went to your old building. I went to a wedding in your old building, and I saw what you did there. So if you did it there, I'm sure you could do something with our building." And I
Wow.
said, "Well, where's it at?" And he told me. I says, "I know exactly where it's at, because
Wow.
I've seen it 20 years ago,
Yeah.
or at that time, 10 years ago,
Right.
whatever it was."
Yeah.
And so he said, "Come down and let's talk." So he said, "In 5 years, if you guys want to buy it, you're able to buy it. Let's write up a contract.
Yeah.
This is how much money we want for it. $525,000.
Wow.
In 5 years, you could buy it for this amount." And I said, "Okay." And so we signed the contract. We came into the place, started working on it, and of course you were here. We
Yep.
roasted.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Boy,
So we were,
I had more costume changes than Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift put together in this church.
we came into this building,
Yes.
and you would think people would be excited, and there was a remnant of people that were excited,
Mhm.
but I believe there was also people that they were overwhelmed by
Mhm.
this big, monstrous of a building,
Yeah.
and the work that needed to be done.
Yeah.
So it scared people away.
And I think every pastor, when they're getting something great, there's always the crowd in the church that is afraid of the work, afraid of the giving, afraid of all the things, and then they kind of leave the church for a while and let all those other people give and let all those other people do the work, and then they come back. Wow, look at what God did for us. You know what I mean?
It was real strategic that God brought us here. Because right weeks before we came into this building, I was like, okay, we're going into this. I've never done anything like this. So we were kind of just going off of what we know. And then the Lord brought a great man into our ministry by the name of David Escalera.
Mm-hmm.
Many of you know him. He's
Yeah, Big
part of
Dave.
the Victory Homes. And he came in just for a pit stop. We were laughing about the story.
Yeah.
So he was coming through the bus. Goes, hey, maybe we'll stop for Thanksgiving. I'll have Thanksgiving with you guys. And I said, yeah, come on in, Dave.
Yeah.
So he came in. He had Thanksgiving, and Sister Ginger's gravy and mashed potatoes was so good
That he
so
never
good,
left.
never left.
He was like that stray cat that you fed,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. But really, he was very instrumental
Right.
with the banking, with putting together campaigns, the
Yeah.
Nehemiah Project. I mean, you name it. He, along with all the behind the scenes
Yeah.
of the banking and stuff that we didn't know what to do. Even sometimes he didn't know, but he
Yeah.
learned it. And then, of course, the people in the church rallied behind our leadership. Saying,
Right.
Pastor, we're with you, heart and soul.
Yeah.
You know, you have those that left,
Yeah.
and you had some that said this ship is going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this ain't.
We're not gonna do this. There's too much work.
It's
Yeah.
too much, and I don't see it, and it shook. Even to this day, I don't put down anybody that felt that way back then. Even
Yeah.
people that are still with us now, because it shook all of us.
Yeah.
And if they rally through this and just be persistent, and
Yes.
trust God and believe God, if God called you, then if it's God's will, it's God's bill.
Yes.
I don't
Love
say,
that.
like, okay, God, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna just believe you for miracles and just do whatever and just be obedient. And so I just learned, both of us, not just me, not to give up.
Yeah.
And when by rights,
Yeah.
we probably had every right to give up.
Yeah.
Hey, I lost my pastor.
Yeah.
Hey, we lost our building.
Yeah.
Hey, we lost people that were
Yeah.
with us for 10, 12
Yeah.
years.
If there was ever a time to walk
yeah.
away, it was. But you came to a place where you needed a financial
Yes.
miracle to
Yes.
break you through, and something supernatural happened. What was that?
We got to the place where, first of all, the gentleman that was selling us the building recanted on it, and he said, "Hey, I made a mistake. I can't sell you the building." Blah, blah. What do you mean you can't sell us the building? He said, "Well, this is what it is." And I said, "No. So listen, I got a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lawyer. I showed her the contract. She said, "No, this is binding.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get out of this."
Right.
But we still lacked $60,000.
$60,000.
This is after we had
already
raised
raised 52,000.
$52,000 in the bank.
Right.
We still needed 160.
Wow.
I mean, 60,000.
Right.
Now, the big thing about this is that we were running out of time.
Okay.
If we didn't have this done by May 31st of 2018, Tommy, it was 2018.
2018, we'll call it.
Now, if we,
Yeah.
so if we wouldn't have had the money in the bank
Right.
on May 31st of 2018, I believe it was, we lost everything. The contract was void. People were pulling out their 401ks.
Wow. Beautiful.
Some of the business owners of the church, Pastor, here's 15,000, here's 10,000. People were, man, it was a Book of Acts, chapter 2 moment.
Wow.
You know, where I was blown away. I was like, wow, but we were still short. We were already working with a church in Lakeway, a tremendous man of God, Pastor Culture, and his group of men, good God-fearing men that believed in our ministry.
Right.
And they come from, a beautiful part of the city,
Wow.
beautiful
Yeah.
houses, beautiful homes,
Affluent
beautiful
neighborhood.
church. But they had a heart to help us.
Mm-hmm.
So we had lunch with them. I never asked them for money, but I shared where we were at.
Mm-hmm.
They heard us out.
Yeah.
They said, good, okay, well, it looks like you need a miracle. I said, yes, I do. The
Yeah.
gentleman told me, well, if somehow you don't get money down the road, at least you got a free lunch here today. He started
Wow.
laughing, and I didn't know if I should laugh or cry. and we said, okay, so we got in the car, me, Ginger, and Dave, and we were quiet. We said, what did that mean? He goes, we don't know. So he said, listen, I'm going to call Pastor Gary Culture. That's his pastor.
Uh-huh.
He's in Israel right now. He's in Israel. and they did the Israel tour.
I love
He goes,
this.
but I'm going to try to call them and try to get through with them because we already brought your name up, and your
Yeah.
name is like in the hat
Yeah,
that we want to try to do something, but nothing is solidified.
yeah.
So I said, okay. So we were like waiting, and he goes, so the next day, he calls me. He says, well, I got some good news. I said, okay. He goes, I called Pastor Gary Coulter.
Yeah.
And when I called him, he was in the Jordan River, baptizing 38 people.
Oh my God, that's
And
amazing.
in the middle of baptizing, his assistant had got the phone and said, Pastor Gary, it's Mark Wiggins on the phone.
Uh-huh.
What did we decide with Victory Outreach? He goes, well, I'm in the river right now. I'm baptizing, but give Victory Outreach whatever they need.
Wow.
Release the
Wow.
60,000.
Thank you,
Now,
Jesus.
this wasn't a loan. This was
A gift.
free-given gift.
Wow.
Wow.
So from the Jordan River,
Yes.
from the cloudy Jordan River,
Yes. It's still power flowing in
murky
that
waters,
Jordan.
the murky waters
Yes.
became a miracle.
Wow.
So they released the money to us,
Mm-hmm.
but that wasn't over yet.
Wow.
So we're all excited
Yeah.
because we got the money, but it still had to go through a process of banking,
Yeah.
going into different things. Now remember, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So as the money came in, we're trying to make decisions and getting back to the bank. And we got the money. Okay, it's got to be transferred here. The transfer, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So here we are, May 30th.
Mm.
We're running out of time. And this gentleman was very deliberate about if the money is not in my bank,
Yeah.
I'm taking back the land.
Oh my God.
So what happened was we went to the bank, we were doing everything,
Yeah.
transferring. We left, we're still like, yeah, right, it's getting transferred. And Dave, good praise God for Dave. Dave was pastor. I noticed what Dina said. Dina was the lady in the bank. He said, I don't think they got it real clear on what's going to happen. I said, Dave, we're done.
Yeah.
He goes, no, there's something wrong. He investigated that later on that day, and they misunderstood. They misunderstood some things.
The transfer.
Yeah, they misunderstood the transfer. And he said, no, it has to be in by tomorrow. They said, oh, then we have to work on it now. And it was like, oh my God, we're sweating. We're like,
Down to the last
finally-
minute.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know,
gosh.
seconds. And finally, when the money went into his bank,
Yeah.
we thought it did. May 31st came.
Yeah.
We woke up in the morning, prayed, said, God, okay, everything should be good today. Ginger called the bank. Is the money in there? They said, no, we haven't received it yet.
Oh my God.
And I'm saying, what do you mean? He said, we haven't received it yet. Call back. So we called back 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
They said the money just hit the bank in his bank. It's in his bank. It's in
Wow.
his care. So we just like melted, like it's in there, right?
Yeah.
But this is how close it was. That when the money went into his bank,
Yeah.
it was there. He never notified his lawyer.
Yeah.
So when we went down to do the paperwork,
Yeah.
to sign all the papers for the land,
Yeah.
we went into his lawyer's office and he looked at us. He said, "Okay, how can I help you?" I said, "Pastor Vince, my wife Ginger, we're here
Yeah.
to do the paperwork." He goes, "Did you guys get the money in the bank?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, call the bank."
Right.
So we went into his office. He was panicking. He was so nervous because I think he thought we were lying.
Yeah.
So he pulled out paperwork
Yeah.
and I signed the wrong papers because he gave me the wrong papers
Oh.
because he was frantically
Yeah.
so
They were.
nervous.
Were they counting on you not having it?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
basically
We
what it
were
was.
having- So why
Yeah.
he didn't even have the paperwork ready because he goes, they're not going to come through.
Yeah.
So he called the bank, heard everything, and then he goes, "I'm sorry, I had you guys sign the wrong papers. Here's all the papers. I
Yeah.
signed everything." So God brought us and gave us the money on May 31st, the day that we needed it to
Yeah.
get there. But real quick,
Yeah.
this is another miracle. That money, that 60,000.
Yeah.
When I called Mark Wiggins to tell him thank you,
Mhm.
everything went through. I said, "Do you guys do this often?"
Yeah.
He said, "No, we don't giving money out a lot like that." He goes, "But this is what happened. 5 years ago, we wanted to start and reach the Spanish community. So we put money to the side. We put this money to the side, and we were ready to start a Spanish ministry to reach our community and all that.
Right.
But it never happened. So that money's been sitting in there for 5 years. That 5 years is when we came into this building.
Yes.
So
Wow.
God had put that money.
Wow.
Oh my
He reserved it.
gosh.
He
Yes.
put it away. We didn't know it.
Mhm.
So when it was time
Yes.
for the miracle to happen,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I said, "Are you serious, Mark?" He goes, "We don't do this." So
Wow.
we decided as a church to give you guys the money.
Yes.
And I go, so when did you do it? He goes, we started this fund 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Wow. You know what? That is so powerful because, you know, I mean, our church right now, Victor H. Whittier, we're stepping into a brand new building, and our pastors, Pastor Joe and Doreen, they're carrying a tremendous burden. They're taking care of 2 properties. We're believing God. You know, I think our pastor wanted to raise, I think, $500,000 through the whole church. And the other day we, you know, collected money, and I think we raised almost $500,000 just with our leaders. And so I know we weren't there this Sunday because we were here, but I understand that more money was raised on Sunday. But for all the people that are from Whittier that have made pledges, God is going to provide. And Pastor Joe and Doreen, if you're watching this, God has a number of miracles that is going to be opened up for you so that we can step into that brand new building. But you know what, man, Pastor Vince, Ginger, this is also powerful, man. We've had a wonderful time with you guys today. And you know what? Before we end today, I want you to take a moment just to talk to our listeners and just give them a word of encouragement. And just whatever God puts on your heart, I want you to share with them before we sign off today, because I believe that there are people out there that are linked right now to the stories that they've heard and to the messages and the principles and the lessons that have been coming out through this show today. I want you to just take a few minutes to just share with them what God has put in your heart.
As pastors, if you're a pastor or you're involved in leadership, you're behind your pastor. What I feel like the Lord put in my spirit right now is that it's all worth it. It really, really is. And I think sometimes in the midst of what's going on, we begin to question, like, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
Because what I mean by that is the attacks on your marriage, the attacks on your children, the attacks on you physically, the attacks on your finances, the attacks in your church. I found out this, that not everyone wants to go where you want to go, and not everyone's going to go with you. Yeah. You want to believe and you want them to go with you, but for whatever reason, people move on. People that were very, very close to you. It's very hurtful. It's very, a lot of times you feel, is it really worth it? And all I could say to you is to encourage you to not give up.
Yeah.
And it's all worth it. You know, when I think about our lives, and I heard Charles Stanley, he just passed away.
Yeah.
I think he said something like, I want my life to be a contribution to the healing of this country.
Wow.
And I think that if you look at it like that, with our lives, we are making history, and our whole goal is to reach people, to reach our city.
Yes.
Our contribution, our lives are a contribution to the healing of our city,
Yes.
of our families,
Yeah.
of our country, and the world.
Yeah.
In whatever order you want to put it. But I believe that I've done my best, and I'm continuing to do my best, me and Ginger.
Yes.
And our contribution is our life is to contribute our life to the healing of this country and the healing of our city, the city of Austin. I can't help but think, Mondo, that right now, this hits home. Pastor Ed passed away at my age right now. And I feel like I'm barely getting started.
Yeah.
And his life, God is the God of time and all that.
Yeah.
I believe he was 57, 58.
Yeah.
I'll be 58 next month. And this was the age group that he was in. And I feel like I have still so much more life to give and so much to contribute to the vision that God has given our ministry, Pastor Sonny, Sister Julie, this third wave revival that's taking place. I know me as a young man, and I can speak for my wife, we impacted our generation.
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
In the way that we do now.
Yes.
But now it's time for you
Say that.
to impact your generation.
Yes.
I'm not saying I did my job, I'm done. No, I'm still in this. And I want to contribute. I want to help to reach this generation. That means I got to change. I got to relinquish. I got to be willing to learn and relearn things.
Yeah.
But we really believe in this third wave movement.
Yes.
And we want to be behind or side by side with these young people.
Yes.
And I feel we're in a good place to do that.
Yes.
So I want to encourage you pastors. I don't have it all together. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying super pastor. I have all the answers. All I know is I was willing to
Yes.
stick it out and keep my boots on
Yeah.
and keep moving forward and trust God. And God will bring you the people. Pastor Ed told us this. When you go to the city of Austin, God's going to bring you ravens to feed you.
Yes.
And he's going to bring you the resources and the things that are going to help you. And to this day, 25 years later, God is still bringing ravens in all different ways. And they're flying in from different places. I'm not saying the ravens are all money, believe me, but just different ways. People, good people that have a heart.
Yes.
Finance, a little bit of finance, materials, longevity, people that have longevity with us, great leaders that are still with us. And so I just want to tell our church, and anybody in our church is watching, we love you. We appreciate our church. Victory Art's awesome. We love you guys. We're in a great place. And the best is here and now. I know the best is yet to come, but the best is even here and now.
Yes. Yeah, Ginger, share what's on your heart too.
Well, he shared everything, but there's always going to be a process to get there where God is taking you. And don't ever give up. Always know that whatever season you're in, it's going to end. You're going to go into a new season. And no matter what it looks like around you, you have to keep your eyes on the Lord. Because God already knows the plan. It's just our responsibility to stick to it, not give up, not walk away. You know, Pastor Ed used to tell us that paying the price is not going. Paying the price is not relocating and leaving our families and going to work. That's not the price. He said people relocate all the time. He said the price is staying. When the enemy hits you, staying. When you're going through the fire, stay. You know, no matter what comes your way, stay, stick it out. That's paying the price. And I just thank God, you know, for having a great pastor's wife, Pastor Ed and Sister Mitzi. We love them. And their life has been such an example to us. And that's why we're able to be here today, because we're able to look at their life and all the things that they did. And that's what we always refer back to, because we were with them during their pioneering stages. We were young and we didn't know a lot of things, but now that we're older, it's all kicked in and we're just doing our best. And we love you. And we love our church, Victory Outreach Austin. You guys are our heart. And that's why we're here.
Yes.
Because we love you.
Yes.
Amen.
You know what? Listen, this has reminded me of something that the Lord taught me in one of the darkest, hardest times of my life. And he spoke to me and he said, son, there's going to be days that you're going to soar like an eagle. And there's going to be days that you're going to run like the rabbit. And there's going to be days that you're slow like the turtle. He goes, and there's going to be days when you're crawling like the snail. He says, but even the snail leaves a trail to let everybody know he's still moving forward. And you know what? Today, the Lord wants you to remember, no matter what, I'm so touched, because journey is real. The process is real, but God is more real. And his grace and his mercy are amazing. The love of Jesus, how he loves you, how he loves us through the journey, the difficult times. And today, remember that God's love is available. He's there with you. The power of his Holy Spirit is there to encourage you. No matter what phase of life you're in, he will take you through, because he is faithful to complete the work that he started. And so today, wherever you're at, I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes, because God is going to touch you and he is going to encourage you right now where you're at. Father, in the name of Jesus, we combine our faith and we send it through this internet to touch your people, pastors, leaders, mothers, fathers, businessmen, young people, Father God, third wavers, Christians, non-believers, Father, wherever they are at, those who need encouragement to continue to move forward. We pray and we speak life into their spirit right now. Lord, the same anointing that is felt right here in this room, we send it to their bedroom. We send it to their office, to their car, wherever they're listening to this podcast. And we ask you that in your wonderful, amazing love, that you would touch your people right now. Jesus, move on their behalf. And right there where you're at, that's the presence of God. That's the love of God in motion.
Yes.
And on behalf of my wife and myself, Pastor Vince and Ginger, and all the people here in Austin, Texas, and from Scars, Stories, and Songs, we love you. And we pray that you are blessed by this episode and this two-part episode. We're going to be bringing more to you in the future. But remember, if you haven't taken the time, 3 things that we always tell you: subscribe, share, and soak it all in. Because God is doing something real through this podcast. We love you. Don't forget to visit us at Mando and Christina, MANDO and Christina with a K.com. And let us know how this podcast is impacting your life. And you can check out our Live Grateful. You can check out, our apparel line. You can connect with us. Go to our Facebook. You can download our music and our preaching. Everything is in one spot for you. And we're doing it all because we love you. God loves you, and so do we. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, and thank you for being with us. We'll see you soon. Bye now.